Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, you want me to deliver on time? I'm not going to keep doing other people's jobs for them, then. Extra onions. Boss made a rule, and soon changed his mind. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. You want me to deliver on time? I'm not going to keep doing other people's jobs for them, then. First time posting here, but I randomly remembered this small bit of malicious compliance from my teen years. Every morning for about 4 years I'd wake up at 7 a.m. to deliver papers around my neighborhood. Sleep schedule was perfectly timed, so everything ran smoothly. Then the shop I worked for got new owners. They would slowly start adding papers to my round but didn't pay me any extra. They were weird additions too, like clumps of 3 or 4 houses 10 streets away. I eventually found out that every time a kid quit their street, the owner split up their round and tagged it onto other people's rounds, instead of getting new workers. Before long, the amount of papers I had to deliver had doubled. I had to wake up earlier and earlier to take on this extra amount. Every week I would be surprised with extra papers, so I wasn't used to this and delivered late frequently. I also slept through my alarms from my sleep schedule being messed up. Customers started complaining to my boss. Every week I got more texts, deliver on time, or we're giving your round to someone else. I bit my tongue for a while. I waited patiently. Then finally, it happened again. Delivery sheet said I had 10 new papers, all for streets miles apart. It would have added an hour onto my round. Perfect. What did I do? I left them on my curb. Waited for that angry text from my boss. Blah blah hasn't gotten their paper, messaged my boss, you wanted me to deliver on time and I have. I think you made a mistake, because these aren't my papers, so I left them on the curb for you to pick up. She eventually turned up and had to deliver them herself 6 hours late. The next morning, the extra papers were gone. Probably tagged onto some other poor teen's round, but from then onwards she never messed with me again. Extra onions. This happened years ago. I was working at a McDonald's on a highway rest stop as a teenager over the summer. I was making the burgers in the back when a belligerent customer came up and ordered a cheeseburger with extra onions. He made sure to emphasize "I want extra onions" loudly and repeatedly, and banging his fist on the counter because last time he ordered extra onions, there wasn't enough onions on it. My manager overheard the order as well because the customer was being loud and rude to the cashier. I looked over at my manager and he gave me the nod. He knew what I had in mind and that he would have my back. QMC, standard cheeseburgers are supposed to have a little sprinkle of this diced onion mix. I proceed to pile on about a cup of diced onion on top of the burger. To keep it from spilling off the burger, I alternated a slice of cheese between 1/2 thick onion layers, so a total 1.5 thick layer of diced onion and cheese ended up on this burger along with the other toppings. I microwaved it so the melted cheese fused with the onions to keep it all together as best as possible, wrapped it up carefully and put it out for the cashier to pick up. It was as tall as a Big Mac and weighed 3 times a normal cheeseburger. The cashier picked it up and her eyes grew wide as she hesitantly bagged it, glanced at the manager as he waved her on, and walked back to her register. The customer snapped the bag out her hand and says, "This better have extra onions on it or I'll be back." We watched the guy grab his condiments and napkins and head to the seating area, so the manager stayed at the counter waiting for any blowback. It wasn't busy, so we sent a staff member to go check on the napkin station that was near the guy to see his reaction as he opened up his onion burger. Sure enough, he unwraps the burger, looks at it inquisitively as onions and cheese spill out the sides, does a little nod and smirk like this was exactly what he was looking for, and takes a huge bite out of it, chews a couple times, his eyes then go wide and realizes his mistake and immediately spits it out onto the tray. He sits there sheepishly for a few moments with an embarrassed look on his face while he inspects the burger more closely, and you can see him ponder his next move while he drinks his soda and munches on fries. He tries scraping off some onion onto the wrapper, but the cheese and other toppings are coming with it, basically left with a plain hamburger and bun. He tries unsuccessfully to reassemble the burger with less onion and some of the other toppings, but it was a big pile of onion/ketchup/mustard/cheese with a single pickle. He takes another bite, then throws it down on the tray in disgust. He finishes his fries, tosses out the burger in the trash, and we watch him leave in embarrassment. He doesn't even glance back to the counter on his way out. Boss made a rule, and soon change his mind. As I start to work in general manager position in my actual company, my boss gave me a company smartphone. I was carrying 2 phones with me all the times. As soon he noticed this, he called me and said no personal phones were allowed during work time because personal life stays outside of the job and not to mix things, and I was there for work and not to call to my girlfriends. We're logging into Facebook and personal phones are a distraction. I agreed and complied in the next day. In the very next day after I started to keep my personal phone in the locker room, he was waiting for me at the lobby with very bad mood because he called multiple times after work time and I didn't answer and asked why I ignored him. I said I was at home and my company phone was in the locker room, so it was useless to call me after work time because the job should stay outside of personal life and I didn't want to mix things. It's been 7 years as a general manager and I have only one phone now with both SIM cards because it's boring to fill both pockets with smartphones. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.